Okay. No camera glare? Yeah, perfect. Testing, testing. The sound is tuned to just the right frequencies. The questions have been prepared and checked, the props are ready, and everyone behind the screens is looking great. Alright, team, time to begin. The participants are already at the starting point, or rather, at their screens. Good afternoon, my friends. Make yourselves comfortable in front of your screens. A big welcome to all the teams. Today is indeed a special day, the historical international game 1418. Will celebrate its 5th anniversary and is being held as part of the International Historical and Educational Victory Dictation project to prepare for it. It's gratifying to see that even in such few years, this history-based game has already achieved notable heights. In 2022, it entered the Russian Book of Records as the largest online intellectual history-based game dedicated to the events of the Great Patriotic War. And in 2024, it was included into the Russian government's Unified Action Plan for preparing and celebrating the 80th anniversary of victory in the Great Patriotic War of 1941-1945. And we are thrilled that this year the game has gone international, allowing teams from around the world to participate. After all, it's vital for us to keep the memory of great victory alive in people's hearts worldwide. We are not stopping at what we've already achieved, we are reaching new heights. You already know me, since you registered on the website. My name is Sergei Gorodnichi, a Russian theater and film actor. Pleased to meet you. And today I'll be testing your erudition, knowledge, and quick thinking. As you know, Russian people are so hospitable that on an anniversary game like this, they love not only to receive, but also to give gifts. Regalo, cadeau. If you thought I had a built-in Marusia speaker in my head that translated the word gift into other languages, you're mistaken. Since this is an international game, it will be translated into 3 languages: English, Spanish, and French. So I've prepared ahead of time. Moving on. We'll be using bonus points as gifts. They'll go to the most attentive viewers. During the game, you will see letters appear on screen. Make sure to memorize them or to write them down. Next, you'll need to use all these letters to form a word and then enter it into the form at a specific time. When a letter appears, you'll hear a distinctive sound like this one. The word you form from the letters must be entered in the answer form for the second round. We'll remind you about this later. From this moment on, stay alert. No event can exist without organizers, so let's get to know them and show them our digital support. We can hear your applause through the screens. The All-Russian Public Movement Volunteers of the Victory. The United Russia Party Organizing Committee, Our Victory. The Victory Museum. The Presidential Grants Fund. You know, interaction between generations is very important, valuable, and simply necessary. I say we popularize, support, and preserve that unbreakable bond. Right now, Great Patriotic War veteran Rem Vasilievich Balakarev is joining us. Pay attention to the screen.
Я Рем Васильевич Балакирев, участник Великой Отечественной войны. В свое время я участвовал в Первом Белорусском фронте, который в свое время брал город Берлин. Ну, значит, в свое время, когда мы встали на стоянку, это было 9 мая. И вдруг утром рано с флагманского корабля была выпущена ракета, и потом стрельба. Все корабли были рассредоточены по побережью этого Штеттинского залива. Это там остров стоял, около острова. Были, и вдруг ракетница, и потом, значит, с базового корабля оттуда, с флагманского, донесли, что кончилась война. И вот здесь кто, кто мог, кто из автомата, кто из пулемета, кто из ракетницы. Была стрельба, была такая радость. И, в общем, вот как раз 9 мая все это произошло. Ребята, я вам всем желаю изучать историю и все события Великой Отечественной войны. Желаю удачи в игре 1418.
Thank you, Rem Vasilievich. And now joining us is Olga Nikolaevna Zanko, State Duma Deputy and Chair of the Central Headquarters of the All-Russian Public Movement Volunteers of the Victory.
Дорогие друзья, приветствую вас перед началом игры 1418. В этом году она особенная. Мы проводим ее в 5-й раз, потому что год у нас особенный. Это год 80-летия Великой Победы и год защитника Отечества. Мы расширяем форматы. В этом году игра приобретает международный уровень. Она будет транслироваться на 3 языках мира для того, чтобы в любой точке нашего мира все могли принять участие в этом формате сохранения исторической памяти. Дорогие друзья, игра 1418 – это не просто игра. Это не просто командные соревнования, это не просто возможность узнать или вспомнить события и героев Великой Отечественной войны. Игра 1418 – это возможность каждого из нас внести свой вклад в сохранение памяти о подвиге наших родных героев, наших дедов и прадедов. Я хочу пожелать вам удачи, и пусть победит сильнейший. Ну а если вы заинтересуетесь волонтерской деятельностью в сфере сохранения исторической памяти, то приглашаем вас в нашу команду волонтеров Победы. Для этого нужно зайти на сайт волонтеропобеды.рф. Давайте вместе сохранять нашу историю.
Thank you, Olga Nikolaevna. We are about to impress you once again. We'll present the following gifts to each member of the prize-winning team. 3rd place. A true treat for your ears that will help you stay focused while picking the right answers. Wireless headphones. 2nd place. Something that will keep you warm in any weather, something convenient to carry around. This could have been the perfect description of thermal mug, but it's actually a multifunctional thermal printer. It will help you preserve your most precious memories. And finally, 1st place gets a Marusa smart speaker, universal, intelligent, sociable, and ready to provide the answers to all your questions. I'll personally sign a commemorative card for each winner. These gifts are absolutely delightful. I would compete for them myself, but I'm not as spry as I used to be. Anyway, let's focus on the bright side, the bonus points you can earn to move up in the rankings and get closer to winning the prizes. Just a reminder, you will need to collect the letters to appear during gameplay when a certain sound plays, and enter the resulting word into the 2nd round answer form. Gifts will only go to those who followed all rules and criteria, so let's go through the checklist. You can manually tick off each item as we go. Your team can consist of participants aged 14-18 years old inclusive. Your team must have between 3 and 10 members, including the captain. All team members must have completed pre-registration. All team members are located in the same country. I'm sure everything is fine and you don't have anything to worry about. But even if you suddenly discover that you don't meet one of the requirements, don't even think about leaving the broadcast. Stay with us. Anyone can join into play and discover something new. It's not about the gift, it's the knowledge that counts. Why am I in a frame, you might ask? Because you will face 2 rounds of 10 questions each in this history-based quiz game. The first round features questions drawn from well-known historical events of 1945, a year marked by massive military offensives and decisive victories. In the second round, you will face questions about the vital contributions made by Russia's federal districts and Commonwealth of Independent States member countries to the Great Victory. It's time to think outside the box and check if the devices you are using to watch us are ready for action. If you see a red light indicator on your device's screen, you are watching the broadcast in real time. Stability and speed matter too. That means you should check your internet connection. This is crucial since time is our essence, and even a single second can make a significant difference when telling the final result. Every team has someone they trust. No, it's not me, but I'm flattered. It's up to your team captains to submit your final answer after consulting with the team. In order for us to properly identify the participants, the team captains must enter the registration code from volunteerspobeda.rf in the answer submission form. Now calling all captains to attention. To find the code, check the email address you used when registering. Those who registered on time have received the code. Or you can click the Sign Up for a Game button at igra-1418.rf website. If you log in from the same device you used to register for the game, the event page will open automatically, displaying your participant code on the right side of the screen. Copy your member code and save it to your device. If you are accessing from a different device, you'll need to log in. Your membership code will then appear on the right side of the screen. Copy and save it to your device. If you can handle this, no battlefield challenge will be too great. Sending you off to find your participant code. 3, 2, 1, here we go! I'm sure you found the code. Mission accomplished. Now let's fire up our brains. Here is an important point to keep in mind. You can enter and submit as many answers as you want using the form, but only the first one will count. So put your knowledge to work with precision and purpose. I can see you're a bit nervous, but there is nothing to worry about. I'm too pumped for the game. At such times I have my very own special tool. For example, to feel confident on stage or on camera, I focus on staying calm, maintaining a positive mindset, and being able to think quickly on my feet. Everyone has their own approach, but today you will need to rely on logic, quick thinking, and ingenuity. Be sure to use them and don't forget to enter your answer in the designated form using either a symbol or letter sequence. The teams are assembled, captains stand ready, all the preliminary steps before the Battle of Minds are complete, and your exceptional knowledge is about to be put to the test. We are ready to begin the first round called From Baltic to the Carpathians. It focuses on the event of 1945, when our forces not only drove the enemy from Soviet territory, but also succeeded in liberating European countries from the Nazi invaders. A special answer form will be available through a link in the broadcast comments. And for your convenience, you can also use this QR code to access the answer submission form. Keep in mind that you have exactly 1 minute to answer each question. After answering all 10 questions, the captain, yes, that's right, the captain gets an additional 30 seconds to submit the answer form. Only seconds until we begin. Let's focus and exercise your eyes by following the ball apple as it moves across the screen. The goal is clearly in view. Now you won't miss a single question. We are starting round 1. Attention, here is the first question. Commander of the 4th Guards Tank Army Dmitry Lelushenko recalls that on the night of May 8, 1945, 10 crews destroyed the headquarters of the German Army Group Center. Despite the spring weather, Lelushenko likens the wind-blown documents to a paper what? Name it. Question 2. In one wartime song, you can hear these words. He led the horses at a walking pace. He sees a girl with a signal flag, and with braided hair tucked under her military cap, standing at the corner, straight as a reed. Her eyes glow like turquoise. Keep moving forward, a Cossack calls out. In which city is this song set? Question 3. The article about the victory banner, which was raised over the Reichstag building on the night of May 1st, 1945, mentions a person who was born 2 centuries before this historic event. What was the person's name? Question 4. Attention, something has been substituted in this question. A Minute of Glory was the title of an article about the soldiers of the Red Banner Regiment of the 77th Guards Chernihiv Rifle Division. During the Warsaw Offensive Operation, all soldiers of the military unit immortalized in Bullet Okudjava's song were awarded the Order of Glory. What is the correct title of the article that we concealed at the beginning of the question? Question 5. After Austria's liberation from Nazi invaders by the Red Army, a broken what appeared on the country's coat of arms? A broken what can keep cyclists from winning races? Name it. Question 6. This item was first presented to our military forces on October 9th, 1760, and has remained in the Kazan Cathedral for 175 years. In April 1945, this item was urgently dispatched to Marshal Chuikov. What is this object? Question 7. On April 26, 1945, hero of the Soviet Union Mikhail Ledintsov destroyed several Nazi cargo vehicles. And which attack aircraft was he flying? You can find the answer right in the question. Question 8. In February 1945, the Big Three made the decision to allocate 1/3 of East Prussia to the USSR and 2/3 to Poland. In which southern city was this decision made? Question 9. Most people believe that the Berlin operation was the Red Army's final operation in Europe during World War II. However, this isn't true. What operation concluded on May 11, 1945, 2 days after Victory Day? Question 10. Before you is an illustration from the magazine Crocodile published in 1945. The following cities are listed on the tank's armor: Stalingrad, Warsaw, Sofia, Bucharest, Belgrade, Budapest, Dresden, and Berlin. Which city, liberated on April 4, 1945, did we deliberately leave off the list? That's the final question of the first round. You now have 30 seconds to review your answers and click Submit. Time's up. Let's check the answers. The answer to the first question is blizzard. A paper blizzard swept through the streets of Zhatek. The wind whirled and scattered handfuls of staff documents in all directions, writes Dmitry Lelushenko. That day, 9 generals surrendered as prisoners of war. The song mentioned in question 2 is set in Berlin. The song Cossacks in Berlin was born on May 9, 1945. The song was written by Caesar Solomonovich Solodar, a poet and veteran of the Great Patriotic War. He was present as a war correspondent at the signing of the German Instrument of Surrender. The answer to the third question is Mikhail Illarionovich Kutuzov. Before sending the victory banner to Moscow, a 4-line inscription in white letter was added. 150th Kutuzov orders 2nd Class Idritsa Rifle Division of the 79th Rifle Corps of the 3rd Shock Army of the 1st Belarusian Front. In question 4, we replaced the word battalion with the word minute. In the history of the Red Army, rich with countless acts of heroism, there stands a unique event. The decoration of the personnel from the 1st Battalion of the 215th Red Banner Regiment, part of the 77th Guard Chernigov Red Banner Rifle Division, decorated with orders of Lieutenant Suvorov of the 69th Army 1st Belarusian Front. All soldiers, sergeants and senior enlisted men of this battalion were awarded the Order of Glory. Question 5 was about a chain. When Hitler came to power in Germany, Nazi agents began infiltrating all levels of the Austrian government. Law of reunification of Austria with the German Reich took effect on March 14, 1938. Austria was declared one of the German lands. At the same time, the idea of Anschluss with the Nazi dictatorship began to face strong opposition within Austria itself. The heroic feat of Soviet forces in liberating Austria enabled the country to break free from German domination. That's why a broken chain appeared on Austria's coat of arms. The answer to the 6th question is key. During the 7 Years' War, Russian troops captured Berlin and were presented with the key to the city. It was needed again when the Berlin garrison surrendered at Vasily Chuikov's command post on May 2, 1945. The key symbolizes the Russian army's triumph over the German forces. The 7th answer is Il-2. Having received his orders, Odintsov led a group of 18 Il-2 aircraft on April 26, 1945 to strike enemy equipment and personnel concentrations near the village of Hobel. During this sortie, the assault group destroyed 12 cargo vehicles and eliminated 30 enemy soldiers and officers. The question contains the word Mikhail and the number 2 in the date. The answer to the 8th question is Yalta. At the Yalta Conference, decisions were made about dividing states and territories between the Western and Soviet spheres of influence following Europe's liberation. During the Yalta Conference, the Big Three agreed that 1/3 of East Prussia, including the city of Königsberg, would be transferred to the Soviet Union after the war, while the remaining 2/3 would go to Poland. Question 9 addressed the Prague Offensive. Although the German command signed the Act of Unconditional Surrender on May 8, Army Group Center continued to resist. On the night of May 9, the 3rd and 4th Tank Armies of the 1st Ukrainian Front made a lightning-fast 80-kilometer dash to rescue the citizens of Prague who had risen against fascism. On May 10-11, the main enemy forces began to surrender, with a total of 860,000 fascist soldiers and officers captured during the operation. In the 10th question, the city we missed was Bratislava. On April 4, 1945, our troops liberated the capital of Slovakia, Bratislava, from Nazi invaders after fierce battles and a deep flanking maneuver. We wanted to check how attentive you are, and it turned out for the best. Take out double-page sheets and write down. Oh, come on, I'm just joking. I just want to remind everyone that the game 1418 is being held in preparation for the victory dictation. We look forward to seeing you participate in all regions on April 25. Most importantly, don't be late and invite your family and friends to join us. And now we move on to the second round, called United in the Face of the Enemy, which focuses on the significant contributions made by Russia's federal districts and commonwealths of independent states, member states, to the Great Victory. After all, every citizen of the Soviet Union, whether on the home front or battlefields, strove to contribute whatever they could to war effort. The link to the answer form is now available on the screens and in the broadcast comments. Captains, attention! Enter your code into the form and let's get started! Question 1. From Zuleika Seidmamedova's autobiographical book. I loved the heights. Every summer my family and I would go to Shuvelin. Thick and mulberry trees dotted the landscape. I climbed to the highest peaks. I liked looking down at the flat rooftops, gardens and vineyards, and the sea with its white lace of surf trimming the shoreline. Who on earth did you take after? My mother lamented. You're climbing around everywhere like a little boy. Zuleika became the first woman from the Azerbaijan SSR to master this military specialty. Name it. Question 2. According to his subordinates, Abkhaz Senior Sergeant Varlam Alexeyevich Gablia was a man who valued honor above all else. For example, one rainy autumn evening, he needed to reach the unit he had just been appointed to command. He arrived to meet his fighters wearing a jacket riddled with enemy bullet holes, but it was not on it. Later, explaining how it happened, Varlam said, I'm 40, and they are all around 20. How could I possibly meet the soldiers after rolling around in it? I'm Abkhazian after all. Name it. Question 3. In front of you is a photo of the memorial in the village of Krasny Bereg, dedicated to them, the victims of the Great Patriotic War. Name them. Question 4. One historian describes the feat of young partisan Dima Yurchenko. First he held back the Germans with machine gun fire, and then, letting them come very close, he used it, taking the invaders' lives along with his own. Name it. Question 5. In 1942, Moldavian fighter Yurko Tarakul and Russian machine gunner Mikhail Nashimkin performed a heroic feat in this city when they took control of a house and an intersection of two streets. The enemy bombarded the house first with mortars, then artillery, but failed to break the steadfast resistance of the Soviet warriors. While carrying his wounded comrade Mikhail to the basement, Yurko kept firing back at the enemy. The Nazis called in air support. The aerial bomb destroyed the house, but the basement remained intact. When the Nazis launched another attack, they were met with machine gun fire. Name the city. Question 6. Two of his elder brothers never returned from the Great Patriotic War, and he himself wrote, "Though the draft boards may have written Azov, but enemies must take heed, that even fallen soldiers will join the fight when the living are summoned by the alarm." Write his surname. Question 7. The name of this city can be translated from Persian as the City of Love. During those difficult years, this city took in thousands of evacuees, forging lasting friendship between thousands of Russian, Ukrainian, and Belarusian children and the local youngsters. Many orphan children found new homes here and were welcomed into loving families. Write the name of the city. Question 8. On the famous monument in Moscow, it is held in a man's hands, while on the Uzbek poster, it rests on a woman's shoulder as a man carries a rifle. Name it. Question 9. Poet Mirzo Tursunzadeh wrote that the son of Tajikistan left his native land to take revenge on the enemy and directed it against fierce foes. It can be said that another one traveled a challenging path from Magnitogorsk through Stalingrad to Berlin. Name it. Question 10. This dance is inscribed in the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage and was performed by the 89th Taman Rifle Division at the walls of the Reichstag in May 1945. What is this dance called? Attention! Bonus point question. Remember which letters appeared on screen when specific sound played. Make a word using those letters. This was the final question of round 2. We'll give you 30 seconds to fill out your answers in the form. That's it. No more responses will be accepted from this point forward. I hope you did brilliantly and accurately on the second round. Let's check the time. It's time to reveal the correct answers. The answer to the first question is pilot. The name of Zulaykha Mir Habib Gizi Sidmamedova, Azerbaijan's first female military pilot, is inscribed in golden letters in the chronicles of the Great Patriotic War. A fighter pilot, parachute instructor, and captain, she made history as Azerbaijan's first female military aviator. She served as a navigator in the 586th Fighter Aviation Regiment, which was formed by Marina Roskova. The answer to the second question is month. Valam Alexeyevich Gabler couldn't allow himself to appear before his fighters in a mud-stained uniform. Gabler fought throughout the entire war, helped liberate European cities, and despite being wounded 6 times, returned to active duty after each hospital stay. The soldiers adored the commander so much that when he was wounded near Esztergom in Hungary, they carried him in their arms to get him to the hospital. Children, this is the answer to the third question. One of the largest concentration camps for child blood donors was located in the Belarusian village of Krasny Bereg. It housed children aged 8 to 14 who had been forcibly separated from their mothers. In the foreground, empty school desks and the chalkboard stand silent, while in the background a small toy ship appears against the blackboard, a poignant symbol of dreams left unfulfilled, a paper boat with 2 sails, just like the ones children would float on the water every spring. The answer to the fourth question is grenade. Dima fell in a battle against the Nazis at Monachov Glade, beyond the village of Kasaut-Grekoskaya, in a Karachay-Cherkasy Republic. Though severely wounded in the legs, he continued holding off the Nazis to allow the partisans to retreat, then detonated a grenade, taking many enemy soldiers with him to his death. A memorial obelisk stands on the site of his death. Question 5 was about Stalingrad. The most famous house-to-house battles of 1942 took place in Stalingrad. Without food or water, the exhausted soldiers fought until their last bullet. When Soviet soldiers liberated the house, or what remained of it, and entered the basement, they found an inscription on the wall. Here fought to the death Guardsman Tarakul Yurko and Nachimkin Mikhail. The soldier's heroic deed is described in Boris Polevoy's essay Tarakul's Redoubt, which was included in the book Banners of Victory. The author of the poem from question 6 is Rasul Gamzatov. During the war years, Gamzatov was published in the newspaper Bolshevik of the Mountains. He wrote poems about soldiers, heroic deeds, prepared essays and articles, and told stories about war heroes from Dagestan. From 1942, he also worked in radio as a program editor. He initially signed his poems with the surname Tsadasa, but later adopted the pseudonym Gamzatov after his father's name, Gamzat Sadasa. Gamzatov's first poetry collection was published in 1943, when he was just 20 years old. The book was published in the author's native Avar language, the national language of the Avars, one of the peoples of the Caucasus. The collection Flaming Love and Burning Hatred contained poems about the war. In question 7, we discussed the city of Ashgabat, since Turkmenistan not only helped transport evacuees but also took them in. By mid-August 1943, Ashgabat's population had grown by more than 32,000 people. Understanding the tragedy of those who had lost their homes and arrived with only what they could carry, the government and people of the Turkmen SSR showed boundless warmth and generosity, offering brotherly support to all who needed it. The Turkmen people opened their homes to women, children, and the elderly who had been forced to flee the war zone and temporarily abandon their homes. A hammer is the answer to question 8. On the worker and collective farm woman monument, the young man and woman hold a hammer and sickle. Nadezhda Kashina's poster, "The country calls fighters to the front, go comrade to the factory," shows a woman taking on a heavy man's work as the men leave for the front. Question 9 was about a sword. Against your fierce enemies he directed his slashing sword, wrote Mirzo Tursunzadeh about the son of Tajikistan. One of the most famous and tallest Soviet sculptures, the Motherland Calls, located on Mamayev Kurgan in Volgograd, is actually just the second part of the three-piece composition. This triptych, an artwork consisting of 3 parts united by a common theme, also includes the monument's home front to front in Magnitogorsk and the Liberator Soldier in Berlin's Treptower Park. All 3 sculptures are united by one common element, the sword of victory. The answer to question 10 is Kachari. The 189th Rifle Division was one of 7 Armenian divisions in the USSR Armed Forces. The name Kachari translates to brave dance. This dance was performed as a ceremonial of ritual dance 3,000, maybe 5,000 years ago. The dancers imitated the beating of rams. The jumps represent headbutts, explains Gagik Genasyan, ethnographer and artistic director of a traditional song and dance ensemble. Let's go over the letters. E, C, E, A, P. When we arrange these letters in the correct order, we get the word peace. In remembering the great victory, we must never forget how the entire nation united for a common purpose, ensuring future generations could live under peaceful sky. You know what? You didn't just do well, you were intellectually brilliant. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, showing team spirit, and to the captains for their quick thinking and reaction. I'm certain our Jubilee International history-based intellectual game 1418 left a lasting impression on everyone. We extend our gratitude to all partners, creators, and everyone who invested not just knowledge but their heart and soul into the game. Specifically, the Ministry of Education of the Russian Federation, the National Center for Historical Memory under the President of the Russian Federation, the Russian Military Historical Society, the Russian Historical Society, the Federal Party Project Historical Memory, the Federal Agency for the Commonwealth of Independent States, compatriots living abroad, and international humanitarian cooperation, and to everyone who helped spread the word about us. To help us improve and grow, please provide feedback using the link in the comments. Together we can achieve great things. It's time to take a breather while we tally the results and determine the winners. The results will be announced by March 31 and will be available on the game's website game-1418.rf and in the official Volunteers of the Victory VK group. Additionally, all team members who submitted answers today will receive points of volunteerspobedy.rf after the game results are finalized. These points can be accumulated and exchanged for branded merchandise. After the game results are finalized, you will be able to download a participant certificate from your personal account. We hope you enjoyed the game. Here is some exclusive information for our most eager and curious participants. We plan to announce this tomorrow, but after your enthusiastic participation, we are excited to share that you can now register for the Our Victory game scheduled for April 30. Visit game-nashapobeda.rf right now to prepare for your next intellectual challenge. Thank you again for playing fair, and we look forward to seeing you again. Until our next thought-provoking meeting, onward to new heights and victories.